1979. The country is rusting. The American engine is choking on its own exhaust. 13% of the country is out of work. 21% interest. You put your money in a bank, it gets fat in the dark. You put it in the market, it turns to dust. That was the world. I was a kid from Belmont, middle of 5. A Boston Italian house where you grew up with a spatula in one hand and a pot in the other. Sunday dinners at the big table. My old man wore a suit. I wore a suit. I was going to be a lawyer. Go to Washington, serve the country. I had my life mapped out on a clean sheet of paper. Then I heard the music. A winter visit to New York. A Christmas party. I met men who spoke a language made of fractions and fire. Eighths and quarters. 12.5 cents a tick. I listened to the rhythm of it. I chose the dirt. I walked off the street and onto the hardwood of the New York Stock Exchange. People watched the movies and think Wall Street was all sharks and wolves. Thieves in custom Italian wool looking for a throat to cut. They think it was all cocaine and yachts and ruin. They don't know a damn thing. I wasn't a wolf, I was a conductor. And that floor wasn't a slaughterhouse. It was an opera. 5,000 men packed shoulder to shoulder in a cage. 5,000 street-smart kids from Queens and Brooklyn and Staten Island who never stepped foot on an Ivy League campus. We didn't hide behind screens. We didn't let an algorithm do our fighting. We stood chest to chest. We read the breath in a man's lungs. You looked at the crowd, you read the panic, you read the greed, and you made your move. You fought for your client. You fought for his. You screamed until the veins popped in your neck. And when the heavy brass bell rang at 4 o'clock, you wiped the sweat off your brow, slapped him on the back, and bought him a beer. That was the code. It was a brotherhood of noise. You sneak up behind a guy on a tense Tuesday, drop a heavy metal plate on the hardwood, the whole room jumps, and 5,000 men roar with laughter. That's the human element. That's the soul. They tell you finance is a young man's vice, but I was up at 4 o'clock every single morning. I jumped out of bed in the dark because I couldn't wait to get back into the cage. But I was home for dinner. Every night. I didn't want the excess. I wanted the floor. And I wanted Evelyn. I met her down there. A Puerto Rican kid from Brooklyn who walked onto the floor at 17 and punched right through the glass ceiling to become a member before I did. She understood the noise. She understood the pressure. We built a life on it. Fast forward. Summer of '82. The market is a desert. The Dow was sitting at 792, a ghost town. I'm a 21-year-old clerk making $250 a week for an old-timer named Mr. Latham. Salt of the earth. He looks at me, says, "Hey, sweetheart, you know the symbol for IBM?" "Yes, sir." "You know the difference between an eighth and a quarter?" "Yes, sir." Then wait. Monday, August 16th. A rumor crawls across the hardwood like a spark looking for powder. Paul Volcker, the chairman of the Fed. Word is he's making a surprise announcement Tuesday morning. The Fed doesn't do surprises. They don't hold your hand. They don't ask how you feel. They swing the axe and close the door. Tuesday morning, August 17th, 8:29. No televisions, no internet. Just a wall of heavy metal phones. The room goes dead silent. 5,000 apex predators holding their breath. 8:30. Every metal phone on that floor lit up at the exact same microsecond. It didn't sound like a ring. It sounded like an alarm clock for a new century. Volcker cut the rate. 2 whole points in one swing. It didn't just break the fever. He broke the dam. I stood in my booth. The orders hit like a hurricane. By 10,000 IBM. By 50,000 Johnson & Johnson. The volume went from 30 million shares on Monday to 138 million on Tuesday. The Dow shot up 35 points. You could feel the ground shake. You could feel the vibration in your teeth. The heat coming off those bodies could have melted steel. I watched the greatest bull market in the history of the world open its eyes and take its first breath. I watched boys become kings. I watched the old guard get trampled into the dust. We lived with the market, not on it. We felt the rhythm of it in our bones. Today you walk down there and it's a museum. 200 guys standing around iPads. The shouting is gone. The laughter is gone. The metal plates hitting the hardwood. Gone. A computer doesn't know loyalty. An algorithm doesn't have a pulse. It routes an order through a server in New Jersey in a microsecond. And it feels Absolutely nothing. It's sterile. It's safe. It's dead. But I was there when it was made of flesh and sweat. I bled the blood of the institution. I didn't do it for the greed. I did it for the spectacle. I did it for the pulse. I did it for the men standing beside me and the family waiting at the big table when the day was done. We built an empire of noise and fractions, and it was beautiful. That's it. That's all there is.